start our writing class. So I just handed out the biographical pyramid. And I did send those home, so I'm hoping you have them. If you do need some, let me know, but I did send them. I have 3 of these in different titles. Today we're going to work on the biographical pyramid. Why are we going to work on the biographical pyramid? What kind of paper are we working on? Munchine. What's that? Yeah, what is it called? What is this paper called? It's written right on your paper that I just handed out. What kind of pyramid are we working on? Olivia. Yes, and we're working on a biographical paper on who? George Washington? Grover? Big Bird? Iron Man?
Who's Big Bird? You don't know. Who's Big Bird? Yeah, who's Big Bird?
You guys don't know Sesame Street? Okay. Sesame Street. Okay, friends. Focus. Woohoo. Big Bird is a character. He's like a giant puppet bird on Sesame Street. Big yellow giant bird. He probably wouldn't even fit through that door. He's so big. So who are we writing our paper about, Tessa? Yes, so at the very top of the pyramid, where it says historical character, write Martin Luther King Jr. So you may need to get your books out just to give you some help to fill in the rest. So what are 2 characteristics of Martin Luther King Jr.? What do I mean by characteristics? What is a characteristic? What would a characteristic of Martin Luther King Jr. be? Before we start naming them off about Martin Luther King Jr., let's define what is characteristics, or what is a character? Not a person in the story, but what is a characteristic of an individual? What does it do? Olivia? It describes the person. Very good. So if you're to think of Martin Luther King Jr., who is at the top of our pyramid, what would be 2 characteristics that you would use to describe him as an individual? Cole?
Peaceful and smart.
Peaceful and smart. I like those 2 words. So let's just list off some words before and then you can choose which ones you want to add to your pyramid. Peaceful, smart, very good characteristics. I need everyone to participate with this. I don't want a few people raising their hands. We just read this book. How would you describe Martin Luther King Jr. as a person? What made him special, unique? What made him a person that people wrote books about and made movies about? Why was he famous? M-E. He what? He was a great leader. M. Kind. I need more participants. I need everybody to be raising their hand. I do not want you filling out your pyramid at this time. We are gathering information right now, so I need everyone to participate. I need you to track, and I need you to focus on what we're working on. Put your pencils down right now. Hands should be raised, and we are brainstorming On characteristics of Martin Luther King Jr. This should be, everybody should participate in this. Emma. Strong. James.
Non-violent.
With that, nonviolent. Grayson.
He's a minister.
Minister. Well, that would be more of, not a characteristic per se, but what did he do? So, but what would be a characteristic of him because he was a minister?
He fought for freedom.
He fought for freedom. But what would it make, if he were a minister and he was preaching about God, what would be a characteristic about Martin Luther King Jr.? That he had strong faith, that he loved God, that he wanted to teach people about God. You think about that and come back and then choose a word that you think would epitomize his idea or why he was a minister, okay? Because you're right, he was a minister. What would make the characteristic of Martin Luther King Jr. because of that? Christian.
He had good faith.
He had faith. Should I say strong faith?
Yeah.
Okay. He did. What would he often do, if not all the time, before he would have to make a big decision or go out and do a protest? What did he do? Very much like Jesus did every single time. Gabe.
Right?
Yes. He was prayerful. I need to spell. Prayerful. Jonathan.
Servant leader.
Servant leader. Luke.
Wise.
Wise. Just going to put up here because we're running out of room. Grayson.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy. That is a good one. Tessa. Brave. Very brave. Very brave. I want to see some hands that have not. Sam. What is a characteristic of Martin Luther King Jr. that stands out to you?
Peaceful protester.
We have nonviolent, but he is peaceful, so we have that. But I will write that down. We don't, he is a peaceful, we have nonviolent. You can put peaceful protester. Because that was a big part of his life, wasn't it? Was protesting. Helen.
Fearful.
What?
Fearful.
He was fearful? Or was he fearless? Fearful means you're scared all the time.
Oh, I mean fearless.
Fearless. I'm sure he had a lot of fear, but did he do it in fear? Anyways, yes, he moved forward even though he was moving forward in scary times. Fearless is a great name, or great characteristic. Fearless. Winsheen. Selfless. Very good. Christian.
Trustful.
Well, we have trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Good. He definitely was. Olivia.
Never give up.
Never gave up. He never did give up. Never gave up. Even when things were looking bleak, he never gave up. M. Yeah, I mean, he always thought. He didn't do things without thinking about them and praying about them. So yeah, he always thought about things because he was very wise. And because he had faith. He always thought about things and made careful decisions. Helen.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes. Jonathan.
Hopeful.
hopeful, like that. All right, so friends, we have some really awesome characteristics of Martin Luther King Jr. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at all of these wonderful characteristics, choose 2, and write them in your pyramid. Nice job, friends, on coming up with all of those wonderful characteristics. Those are really, really, really good. Really good. Yes, Em. Yes. Determined. Yes. He was extremely determined, wasn't he? Just amazing. And quite honestly, if there are more than 2 that you really like, you could always write the other ones on the bottom. But you just have to pick 2 to put on the 2. But you have a lot of good things. Because that will help you when you're writing about him to look at these characteristics, and that triggers inspiration. Jeremiah. Yeah, we are done. I think we have brave. I'm gonna make bold. All right, so has everybody written down characteristics? Mm-hmm. You've chosen the 2. So now, what is the next 3 lines? What is that title of that? Who can tell me? The next, Jeremiah.
Problem in 3 words.
Okay. Problem in 3 words. So this is not about characteristics or 1-word things. This is a 3-word explanation of what was Martin Luther King Jr.'s biggest problem or obstacle in his life. You need to boil it down into 3 words. So let's start brainstorming. This one's a little more difficult because you have to think of it in 3 words. Let's start by writing down what were the problems that Martin Luther King Jr. was facing, and then we can take those problems and put them into 3 words. What are the problems that he was facing? Olivia. Yeah, why?
Because he was black.
So why couldn't he play with his friend? What is the word I'm looking for? What was he fighting, Olivia?
Slavery?
No. Slavery is over, thank goodness. Like 100 years prior. But now what are they facing? What is Martin Luther King's first big challenge? Tessa. Segregation. That was a big problem that Martin Luther King Jr. faced. What is any more problems that he faced? Segregation was big, but they did away with segregation. Remember, segregation was an act. Making black people and white people drink in different drinking fountains, go in different bathrooms, go in different restaurants. But they did away with that. But it didn't do away with some of the feelings that created segregation. What else did Martin Luther, what was the basic premise that he fought against throughout his whole adulthood? Cole.
Jim Crow laws?
That is one too, but that is part of segregation. Jim Crow laws was part of segregation. Jonathan.
Violence?
Violence. What else? Let's start just throwing things out. There's no right or wrong answers. What did Martin Luther King fight against this whole adult life? What was the premise? What was the things that he was fighting against? What did he want to do away with in the South? Grayson.
Freedom. Wait,
Freedom for who?
the black people.
What else? Freedom is one thing. Yes, absolutely. Luke.
Discrimination?
Discrimination. There we go. Now we got some words going. What was the one thing that he wanted for both whites and blacks, or the word that he wanted to bridge that they didn't have? M. Equality. Very good. Anything else? Those are good. Segregation, violence, freedom, discrimination, equality. Now, take one of those words. Which word should we vote and do just one, or does everyone want to work on their own? Vote? Who wants to do segregation? Violence. Freedom. Discrimination. Equality. Equality has it. So, we're going to work with equality, and we're going to put in 3 words. What is it that we can use equality for? So, problem in 3 words. So we determined that equality is the problem. How are you going to boil that down into 3 words for our pyramid? Problem in 3 words. What did Martin Luther King do? He fought for equality. That's 3 words. No, that's 4. So we can't do that, but let's start brainstorming. He didn't fight equality. What did he do? How did he get equality? We need to just start writing things down because that helps us brainstorm. Cool.
Equality for all.
Oh, nice. All right, anybody have any other answers? M. He wanted equality. That's 3 words. Good job, friends. Keep going. You're doing awesome. See, sometimes just getting ideas out there helps us get more ideas. You have to just start doing it. Yes, Olivia.
Equality for the school.
That's 4. Equality for the school. Winsheen.
Equality for everyone.
Equality for everyone. Good. Helen.
Equality for buses.
You mean the buses get equality?
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually works. You're talking about the bus protest, right? The buses per se were not getting equality. The black people were going for equality, right? So that doesn't quite work. I know what you're saying. But the buses in and of themselves did not have equality because they're buses. So if you can think of something that fits that premise, keep thinking. You're on the right track, not quite the right verbiage, okay? But you're on a good thought. So keep thinking about that, okay? Cole.
Equality for people.
Equality for people. Luke.
Equality for blacks.
Equality for blacks. Running out of room. Because you guys have so many good ideas. Grayson, did you have one?
It was the same as Luke's.
Okay. All right, now this is what you're going to do. Does anyone have anything else? You're going to choose one of these and you're going to write it in your pyramid. I am not going to tell you which one. You get to choose which one speaks to you the most. Fantastic ideas, friends. I am so impressed. All right, does everybody have their ideas down?
Yep.
We have one more to do. Solution, resolution in 4 words. So we've written about his characteristics. What did he fight for? Now what we need to think about, was he successful? What do you think? Was Martin Luther King Jr. successful in what he fought for and strove to do? He was, absolutely. So, we're going to do the same type of thing. How was he successful? What were his successes? Let's write those down, and then we're going to condense those into a 4-word phrase. M. So, we have freedom. What else? Come on, friends, let's go. Start thinking, what was he successful at? Martin Luther King Jr., what was he successful at? Freedom. What did he do away with, for the most part? Put into law in the South, early on, was one of the big words we put on, starting with S. What did he help make a bill for in the law that did away with it? Grayson.
Segregation.
So, he ended segregation. Winchie. No, he had nothing to do with slavery. That was 100 years prior to Martin Luther King Jr. So, thank goodness that was already done. But again, like slavery and like segregation, just because they did away with the act didn't mean they got rid of the feelings, right, and emotions. Those were still very prevalent. What else did he do? What were some of his solutions or resolution? Resolution means something that he was successful at. Yes, M. Peaceful protests. He was very good at that. Helen. Emmy. Ooh. That could be one word right there, or one, that could be it right there. All right, so now what we need to do is that we don't have to condense into 4 words because it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So how would you put bus boycott as a 4-word solution? Quinchine. One, 2, 3, 4. 4 words. Good. Cool. What about freedom?
Yeah, I want for freedom. Freedom for all people.
Ooh, nice. Freedom for all people. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have peaceful protest, which is 2 words already. So can you think of 2 more words to make that into a 4-word resolution? Christian.
For everybody?
Peaceful protests for everybody? Is that what you want to say? All right. Does anybody have anything else they wanted to add? Jonathan.
Martin did peaceful protests.
Marching and did.
No, Martin.
Oh, Martin did peaceful protests? Okay. I'm just writing down. If you had other ones that you wanted to add, just speak up.
I have one for freedom.
Okay.
Martin fought for freedom.
Good. Good job, friends. What about segregation? Ended segregation. Luke.
Ended segregation for blacks.
Nice. Very good, friends. Jeremiah.
Ended segregation for all.
Christian.
Martin ended segregation truthfully.
Nice. Sorry about the running out of space. Emma, we got all, yes, go ahead.
Martin ended segregation peacefully.
Ooh. Wow, good job, friends. I am so impressed. These are fantastic. Now you have the rough decision to make a decision on which one you want to put on your paper. Because these are all so good. So choose one that you want to write down. If you want to write anything else down, put it in the back. Because all of these are going to help you when you go back to your paper. These ideas are really good. They help you form ideas. Yes, boy. Yeah, you pick 4. These are all 4 words, and you put them on the solution resolution in 4 words. So you pick one that you want on your pyramid. Very good, friends. Does everybody have their ideas? I'll leave them up there. So Mr. June is in here to give us all a mask break. Thank you, Mr. June. So what you need to do when you get this done, make sure you write them down, because these are awesome ideas. Put them in a safe place. And boy, let's do your spelling test real quick, okay? And then you can go out, all right? So you're not going out in the snow. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to